Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video, and today I'm doing a review of Doctor Who Revenge of the Cybermen. Now, this is... first of all I'm going to go through the packaging even. You've got Tom Baker there, you got Tom Baker years 1974 to 1981, you've got what I want to say is Voga there, Nervous Station, Cyberman, Tom Baker and all the Fourth Doctor. The one of the Vogans, I can't remember it, I can't even really remember his name, and the Missile. Doctor Who, Revenge of the Cybermen, new BBC logo, DVD thing, all the same sort of legal stuff, even on the spine, sort of Doctor Who, Tom Baker, Revenge of the Cybermen, BBC. Special features, who it was written by, the bio, the sort of strip of images, all illegal guff, writer's notes, and the disc. Excuse me. Now, on to the actual episode. It's an okay story. It's just sort of average. Marmite is probably... well, not Marmite, sorry. It's Marmite basically meaning, like, obviously you love it or you hate it. Well, I guess that might actually be a good way of describing this one. I mean, I don't hate it by any means. It's just not... it's not bad. It's just not spectacular, you know? It's not... it's odd, really, because I much prefer Tom Baker and or the Fourth Doctor over Peter Davison's Fifth Doctor, yet Earthshock is easily the better story compared to this one. Even if this one is... well known and or synonymous for being the first ever Cyberman story to be in colour, it also showcases that actually they're probably one of the villains and or Doctor Who monsters slash adversaries of the Doctor who are probably best in black and white. Because here they're not as foreboding, they're not as menacing, there's something... I think the black and white sort of era of the 60s adds to their sort of creepy factor, you know, adds to when they're slowly stomping about the place or running, or, well, not running, but marching, or just, you know, being sort of, you know, like you could turn a corner and one would just be staring, well, be there right around the corner, solemnly looking at you. In black and white as well, if that was to happen, you could immediately grasp that sort of intensity, whereas I don't know why, but seeing it in colour I think diminishes that return if something like that had happened in this story or something, let's say, because I think the reason for that is because you can just with black and white, I think it disguises the fact that some of their shortcomings in the costume department in terms of whereas with, like, when it's in colour, if they're not as up-to-date or as, you know, the costumes aren't that good, let's say, you can see that, you know, that they're falling at the seams sort of thing, or they're breaking at the seams, should I say. I mean, Tom Baker has some, and all the Fourth Doctor has some standout moments, you know, the whole, Harry Sullivan is an imbecile bit, the bit where that one asshole character, villain guy, takes out, like, sort of the bag of jelly babies at the apple out of Tom Baker's, out of his pockets and that, because he's like, I need to know who this person is, and then that just happens, and I thought that was pretty funny. I think, again, like, yeah, like, there's just a lot of, old tropes, really, here, that are just prominent of the classic series, like, you know, the Doctor getting knocked out every other time, every other part, you know, the Sarah getting caught, and Harry as well. There's just nothing substantial here. I don't know why this episode, it doesn't even feel like it has a purpose, and if a Doctor Who episode doesn't have a real purpose as to tell this interesting story, then what's the point of it, sort of thing. And that annoys me because it's got the Cybermen in it, and if the Cybermen, if there's a golden oldie, so like the Cybermen, the Daleks, the Master, the Silurians, the Sea Devils, the I don't know what else. The Sontarans, even, you know, like just an established Doctor Who monster or villain or character that's bad or good, even. And they're just in there, and there's no real rhyme or reason as to why they're there, and it's just sort of a fluffer, not fluffer, a fluff piece of story. Then it just falls flat for me. Really, it annoys me. You know, like Closing Time, how that has the Cybermen, but it just felt like in Series 6 that was just filler for what would be the shit, you know, series finale, and that this just feels sort of similarly, but nowhere near as severe, obviously. Closing Time's absolute garbage compared to this. This is a masterpiece in contrast to that, but then comparing this to Earthshock, it's not that good, you know? The Cyberman design's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying that it, you know, if there are issues, then it's more prominent because it's in colour, whereas with black and white, if anything, it not only adds to the mystique and atmosphere of the Cybermen, it adds to hiding issues and problematic things with the costume, if there were any. And the Vogons don't look that good either. I don't particularly like their costume design or their sort of rubbery masks, per se, myself. I hate the fact that on the planet Voga, for some weird reason, it's always bugged me, but there's just, the seal of Rassilon is littered on Voga, and that in the rooms, and it's like, they're not Time Lords, they're not related to the Time Lords in any way, shape or form. Why are there so many goddamn seals of Rassilon there? You know, the side characters are decent. Harry's decent. Sarah's fairly good here. The Doctor's okay. Everything, again, just feels sort of okay, just sort of meh. And that. Something to point out, if you're interested in sort of more like production-esque stuff, the primary set they're in is reused from Ark in Space earlier in the season. They reuse that. They go back to Nova Beacon, which is pretty cool, really. I think. Then there's a bit of an oddity for the classic series, which is that then they shot on location in a cave, which is pretty cool. That definitely adds to some sort of you know, level of atmosphere and that, you know. But I feel like that cave was pretty much wasted, really. Like, it's there, it's not fully explored or utilised in the way it could have been. There's this sort of idea of this plague. Everything just feels a bit sort of quickly rushed, really. Like, there's this thing about the plague in part 1, which really quickly, like, super quick, like, the Fourth Doctor just figures out who the main dickhead on the crew on the Nova Beacon thing is, why he's being a dick, what his plan is, you know, and why actually this plague isn't a plague, but it's him sabotaging the you know, the place for the Cybermen. And then he's like double crossing them with the Vogons or whatever they're called, and that it just, you know, again, I don't think it's well paced. It sort of, it's weird. It somehow, the story or some of the elements that I can remember get quickly sort of wrapped up, and yet in the same way it still drags, and it feels like it's really sort of long-winded. It's odd, really, this one. I couldn't focus on it. I kept dipping in and out of it, and just it didn't hold my attention. And for that reason, I'd probably give Revenge of the Cybermen a 5 out of 10. I mean, if you're a really big fan of the Cybermen, you might really like it. And I hope people do like this story. Again, I'm annoyed that I don't really like this story. Again, it's just a 5 out of 10 for me. It's okay. It's just sort of there in Season 12. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, and subscribe.